On the carry up the middle, the Antelopes pick up approximately 9 yards and get close to a first down. It'll be a second and very short for them.
Well, the Antelope Valley Antelopes are trying to show that they are not a one-dimensional, one-man team there. 33, Derek Minzy gets a handoff there and gets pretty good yardage.
This time we see the pitch back to Mike Smith, and Smith's got some running room. He's not down yet. He's still running over people. Finally brought down at about the 35-yard line. A big 25-yard carry for Tommy Smith.
Well, that is why he has 1,436 yards, 16 touchdowns, because he could follow his blockers and just stay up there. He took a very big hit by Damon Whitmore, and he just kept running. So that's why he's one of the top running backs in the state of California.
And as you said, Alex, one of the keys for the Olympians obviously will be to contain Tommy Smith tonight. Once again, they keep the ball on the ground, faking it to Smith. It's number 31 with the carry. That's, excuse me, number 33, Derek Menzie, picks up another first down. And all of a sudden, the Antelopes are now on the move, and they're deep in Leuzinger territory and threatening. We're in the first quarter with exactly 3 minutes left.
Mike Morrow was leading the tackle. They're opening it up for Derek. Luckily for the Olympians, that Derek slipped, and he went down. Nobody had to touch him.
Here we see the pitch back to Tommy Smith. He goes around the right side and picks up about 5 yards on the carry before he's brought down.
Tackled by Richie Jacobs.
Well, bringing him down was Richie Jacobs. Their fine receiver hasn't done too much in the air lately the past 2 weeks. They need a good, strong showing from him and Tyrone Scott. And, of course, you're always expecting Quan Banks to show off his weekly performance.
So the Antelopes are now down inside the Leuzinger 20-yard line. Once again, they keep the ball on the ground. This time it's going to be stopped for a very short gain. That was Menzies with the carry.
And with a stop, that was Aaron West, number 34. He had a interception last week against Arcadia.
Brings up third and about 3 yards to go.
So it's a big third down play for the Olympians with under a minute left in the first quarter. The score is 0-0 between the Leuzinger Olympians and the Antelope Valley Antelopes. This is a third and short. There's a pitch back to Smith. Smith passes, and it's caught. Touchdown Antelope Valley to number 84. Number 84 for Antelope Valley is David Whitson. So in the halfback option, Donnie Smith shows some more of his versatility by passing 16 yards for the touchdown. That gives Antelope Valley a 6-0 lead with a chance to make it more here and deep in the first quarter.
Well, there's a big disadvantage there. Number 84, David Whitson, 6'1". Richie Jacobs only 5'8".
The kick is up, and it's good. So Antelope Valley leads by a score of 7-0.
Antelope Valley 7.
I was just about to say there that Smith is a one-man wrecking crew. Again, you're going to hear me say it all night long. He's an animal. He can do everything. When he's not running the ball, he's passing the ball. I would have to say, if he was fast enough, he'd pass the ball as a quarterback and catch up to it and score. You know, he's just that good.
Olympians, number 88, Quan Banks. Number 21, Richie Jacobs.
So the Olympians start out exactly, I would think, Alex, how Coach Carnes didn't want to start out, and that's behind. Of course, we've seen our team come from behind so many times this season, but you can't say too often that playoffs isn't the time you want to see. And there you see on the replay, once again, the Donnie Smith pass to Whitson. That was good for the touchdown.
Oh, one thing we got to be proud of our Olympians. They didn't come out in the first possession and fumble the ball like they did up in cold, freezing Alaska, or should I mean Arcadia, just as cold. They did something on their first possession, but they couldn't quite split the uprights.
As we await the Antelope Valley kickoff, back deep is Quan Banks and number 21, Richie Jacobs. And carries into the end zone for a touchback, so the ball will come out to the 20-yard line. Olympians take over, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as they trail early by a score of 7-0.
Well, that's about the only thing right there that Tommy Smith can't do. He can't do the kickoffs. We know he's got a strong legs, because or else he wouldn't have got all those thousands of yardage there. They leave it up to number 14, Chris Jurgensen, and he's their long man. He gets their field goals, and he's all over the place on the extra points.
So the Olympians come out with one man in the backfield. They keep it on the ground, and they pick up short yardage on the carry. They had Richie Jacobs and Tyrone Scott split wide to the right. However, they're still keeping the ball on the ground. We see Quan Banks now coming in, and Tyrone Scott coming out. Quan Banks comes to this side of the field as the far receiver. Number 21, Richie Jacobs is in the slot. Looks like in the backfield is Damon Whitmore. And they throw out in the flat to Quan Banks. He makes the reception, and he's brought down by a host of Antelope Valley defenders. Very short gain on the play. Bring up a third down for the Olympians now.
Third down and 3.
Here we see on the replay, Zach Odom about to drop back, looks out in the flat, finds number 88, Quan Banks, who's eventually brought down, as we say, by a host of Antelope Valley defenders. I'm not the coach, Alex, but I'd like to see them test this Antelope Valley defense by going deep and seeing if they can cover Quan as he goes deep. We see Tim Camilo keeping the ball on the ground, and he's going to be short of the first down. They'll bring up a 4th and about 2. So 4th and 2 with 21 seconds left in the first quarter. Leuzinger Olympians prepare to punt the ball away.
Those were my words exactly there, Rufus. I'd like to see Odom go down deep, try for a pass. They know that Quan Banks is their good-handed man. Maybe go to Richie Jacobs, have him redeem himself.
Number 44, Tommy Smith.
And we see Jeff Loudon back to punt, and Jeff gets off a low but deep kick, and it's taken by Smith. Smith goes around the right side, and he's brought down at about the 45-yard line.
10 yards.
Bill Barnes was there for the Olympians to make the tackle. He grabbed on to Smith's ankles, wouldn't let go. That's what tripped him up.
First down, 10 yards to go.
So the Antelopes get the ball in excellent field position as the first quarter expires. So after one quarter, the score stands Antelope Valley 7, the home field Leuzinger Olympians 0.
Well, the funny thing that everybody out there in Channel 60 spectators will not like is that Antelope Valley wasn't expected to make it that far in the playoffs. They were supposed to make it as a third-place team. They only had 4 returning starters from last year's team, but like I say, one man can make a difference, and Tommy Smith has got him this far. You know he'll be wanting to take him all the way to the final game.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Antelope Valley from the would appear to be the 45-yard line. They keep it on the ground to Tommy Smith, and Smith bulls his way into Olympian territory, picks up 8 yards on the carry. Ball's at about the 47-yard line of the Leuzinger Olympians.
It just seems like that guy, number 44, Tommy Smith, he's indestructible. It looks like it is, but they had to lose. They lost 2 games, one of them the Canyon Country. They found a way to beat him. They kept him down to 47 yards and 15 carries, and Antelope Valley lost 10-9.
Once again, the ball comes to Tommy Smith. He comes around the right side, and he's forced out of bounds by Richie Jacobs. However, we do see flags on the play. That was thrown in the backfield. That was a
Procedure on the Antelope.
And an illegal procedure penalty will wipe out the fine game by Tommy Smith. And of course that gives the Leuzinger faithful opportunity to applaud, because this team is starting to show some dominance of its own on the ground. And when you think back to what the Samuel High Vikings did, that can become a very scary thought, Alex, to see a team dominate you on the ground the way Santa Monica did.
Well, we see one of the best ball carriers here, 2 of the best on this field, and we've had a chance to show you on Channel 60, Mark Harper, and you've seen Curtis Conway. Now we see one of the other cream of the crop there in Tommy Smith, number 44.
So they have a single man in the backfield, and they hand off to him, number 33, and he's going to be stopped for a very short gain. That was Menzie, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 5 for the Antelope.
Henry Benz was all over Menzie there.
Just inside.
They have to rise to the occasion. This will be a defensive game. No matter what anybody says, it's offensively on Smith's part, and defense, Leuzinger has to do their job.
Exactly. So on the 3rd and 5, Antelope comes up with the back split. They throw out in the flat to Smith. He makes the reception, picks up enough yardage for the first down.
Tommy Smith, gain of about 10 yards.
There's a flag in the backfield, however. We'll have to see what the call is. It's going to be against the Leuzinger Olympians, a big 15-yard personal foul, roughing the passer penalty. And that can only hurt their cause as it tacks on more yardage to the game.
You take a look on that replay that we had in the background there. You saw the quarterback go down. One of the Olympians hit him a little too hard, and it wasn't necessary. So that's why they just add on to that big reception there.
So with the 15-yard penalty, it moves the ball down inside the Leuzinger 35-yard line. It'll be a first down and 10 for the Antelopes. And that's one of the things that we know we can ill afford on a night like tonight, Alex. That's penalties and turnovers.
Oh, those penalties always do hurt you. But lately, teams like Arcadia and they were unfortunate to get a lot of those penalties against them and help out the Olympians.
So out of I formation, they keep the ball on the ground. Menzie picks up about 2 yards on the carry. Looks like the Olympians have solved the riddle of Menzie, the other running back, but they've yet to solve the riddle of Donnie Smith, who thus far in the game has run against them for big yardage on almost every carry, Alex.
Well, solving the riddle they did against Arcadia last week, and now they solved the riddle of their backup running back, Menzie. Now they got their big task. One of the biggest they've had all season is stop one of the top leading rushers in California.
We see their quarterback dropping back to pass. He throws out in the flat. It's incomplete. Pass intended for Tommy Smith, excuse me.
Mitchell Gorman covering for the Olympians.
And one of the things that Steve Karn said about Tommy Smith when he saw him on film is that him and Curtis Conway are similar. That he is like Curtis Conway, but there are very few guys that are as good as Curtis Conway. The only thing different is that Tommy Smith is heavier. He's a bit heavier. Curtis Conway's 185. This guy's 210. He's built like a tank, you know. No doubt about it. He's a legitimate threat. That's his words exactly.
And once again, it brings up a big third down play for the Leuzinger defense. It's 3rd and long. They would like to hold him here and force, and they do. That's number 35, Manny Gonzalez, I do believe. Yes, it is. Manny Gonzalez, who's played excellent defense over the last couple of weeks, gets a sack on the Antelope Valley quarterback, which forces a punting situation on a 4th and 25. Here we see on the replay, Manny Gonzalez giving pursuit along with Rick Betzing. Betzing kind of forced the quarterback to Manny, and Manny was able to shut him down. And that was a key 3rd down play for the Olympians.
Oh, Ed Benioff knows how that feels. Arcadia quarterback got sacked 7 times last week by the Olympians.
And on the inside handoff, the short snap, it doesn't fool anybody. The defense responds to it, so the Olympians take over at the 45-yard line. A bit of a trick play there, Alex, by the Antelopes on what appeared to be a certain punting situation. Thought they'd catch the Olympians off guard and maybe ramble for a big first down play. However, a play like that turned out to be very disastrous for them as the Olympians were prepared. Defense did well, and they take over. First down at their own 44-yard line. And we see Zach Odom dropping back to pass, being pursued. There's a pass to Damon Whitmore. Whitmore's got some running room, and he's driven out of bounds on his own sideline over in Antelope Valley territory.
I think that was it. Antelope Valley did it to the Olympians. They got them a little upset there. They saw that hey, they think that the Olympians are sleeping. So Leuzinger's offense is just not going to show the Antelope defense that, hey, we're not sleeping. We're going to show you guys that we can shove it down your throats. And that's what Whitmore is going to try to establish.
And here we see on the replay, Zach Odom passing the ball out in the flat to Damon Whitmore, who pushed his way up the Leuzinger sideline.
Officials timeout.
We have an officials timeout on the field. And Zach Odom was under considerable pressure that time from number 88, Steve Ford. And he looked to be a big guy from here. When I look down in the program, Alex, he is a big guy. He's 6'3", 225-pound senior, plays defensive lineman and tight end. And he was barreling in on Zach Odom as he got that ball away. So it's a 2nd down and 2 for the Olympians. As the ball is at the 48-yard line of the Antelope Valley Antelopes. Zach Odom brings them up to the line of scrimmage. And Zach keeps the ball himself. He fumbles. And it's recovered by Antelope Valley. Zach Odom fumbled on the play. Turnovers, Alex, the one thing we just mentioned a moment ago. Those turnovers hurt just as the Olympians appear to have some offensive momentum. They turn the ball over. Here we see on the replay, Odom looks like he picked up the yardage for the first down, but as he was going down, the ball came loose, recovered by Antelope, and advanced about 3 or 4 yards on the carry. Ball's at the Olympian 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Antelope Valley in the I formation. They hand off to the second man through, who is Donnie Smith. He runs over a couple of Leuzinger defenders, still on his feet. And on a busted play, Smith picks up about 7 yards on the carry, Alex. The guy refused to go down. When it looked like he was pinned in his own backfield, he broke 1 tackle, then 2 tackles, and finally brought down after a 7-yard gain.
Well, here you see the replay. He just goes head on. Marvin Johnson can't stop him, and then the rest of the team can't stop him. He just spins his way towards the big yardage. That guy's an animal, like I said. He'll eat you up any way he can.
They spot the ball at about the 43-yard line, makes it a 2nd down and 3. This time it's Menzies, and Menzies picks up only a yard or so on the carry.
Coming into this ball game, the Olympians have fine recovery on fumbles. They had 24 fumbles, and out of those 24 in these 11 games, they've recovered 18 of them. However, that one got away from them.
And it's another key 3rd down play for the Leuzinger defense, which seems to have been faced with 3rd down plays several times tonight against this team. Of course, they're 1-1. Let's say, I believe this is the 3rd one. Third down situation they've had to face. Let's see how well they can defense it this time. The Antelope is in an I formation. There's movement on the line. It would appear rather that the Olympian defenders jumped offside. We'll have to wait and see how the referee calls it, though. And of course, if it's against the Olympians, it will make it a automatic 1st down. However, it looks like they're going to back up the Antelopes 5 yards. Of course, that means it's still 3rd down. 3rd down and 8 now.
8 yards to go.
Everybody on this side of the field seems to enjoy that call.
Well, certainly 8 yards is a little bit harder to get than 3 yards. And, of course, you know, when it's short yardage situation with Donnie Smith being the threat that he is, the farther they've got to go on 3rd down, the better opportunity it is for your defense to make the play and perhaps hold them. That's why the crowd was cheering, boy. Well, let's look at the 3rd and 8 play and see what happens as they're in the I formation. Predictably, they hand it to Tommy Smith, excuse me. For some reason, I keep calling the young man Donnie Smith. His name is Tommy Smith, folks. I do apologize to him. That's number 44, Tommy Smith. It makes it a 4th down situation, however, a 4th and a very long 3.
Seems like they're going to have to punt the ball off. It took almost the whole team to stop here. Tommy Smith, that is, and it worked.
Well, let's
appear to be going for the 1st down.
And it looks like the Antelopes are going for it on 4th and 3. Leuzinger's up in their goal line defense. Here's a pitch back to Tommy Smith, and he's going to be short. Let's see where they spotted. It would appear from here to have been short.
Leuzinger will take over on his own 40.
And it is short. And the Leuzinger defense has rose to the occasion, Alex. They gave up 7 points deep in the 1st quarter. However, up until that point and since that point, they played very good defense. They've given up the big yardage on some plays, but when it's come time to hold, they have held. Now it's the offense's responsibility to put points on the boards for this team.
That's what the defense has to do. They have to clutch up and come there when their backs are against the wall and just have to rise to the occasion and stop that big rusher.
We see the Olympians in the shotgun formation, which means they're passing, and there's the pass. And it's incomplete. A little bit underthrown. Just a little bit underthrown. Richie Jacobs tried to come back to it, but as we spoke earlier, the field is in fairly poor condition due to the downpours on yesterday, Thanksgiving Day, and some early morning rain, which affects the traction.
License number 1, RWC 575. It's going to be towed away.
And here we see the replay. And on the replay, we couldn't quite see it, but the ball was just a little bit underthrown. Here's a pass out in the flat once again to Richie Jacobs. And Richie Jacobs is able to take it out near the first down. It'll depend upon where they spot it at.
10 yards should be a first down.
Looks like it's going to be enough for a Leuzinger first down.
Last week against Arcadia, the night belonged to Damon Whitmore, 2 touchdowns, and Quan Banks with 2 touchdowns. I think this week, Carnes wants to put confidence in his number 21, Richie Jacobs. Give him a lot of chance to make up for his mistakes in the past.
And it was a first down for the Olympians as they come out in the I formation. This time they keep the ball on the ground and they pick up, about 2 yards on the carry. That was, looks to have been Tim Camilo with the carry. No, Henry Benz, it appears from here, had the carry.
Correction, Henry Benz carrying the ball for a gain of 3.
Makes it a 2nd down and 7 for the Olympians with 5 minutes, 25 seconds left in the first half. They trail by a score of 7-0, and they've got the ball in Antelope Valley territory. Out of shotgun formation, Odom once again drops back to pass. He throws, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for number 88, Quan Banks, who fell down on the play. Once again, due to the slippery field conditions, I'm sure.
I don't know. They might have to be wearing metal spikes like they do on the baseball field there, but that shotgun formation sure is helping them a lot, and they found out they can use that against the Apaches last week up in Arcadia, where the Olympians were very successful in the second half with that.
Well, it certainly gives Zach Odom extra time to pick out a receiver, and of course we see that Antelope Valley has a very big defensive line, and that gives our line some time to keep them out. Out of shotgun formation once again, we see Odom dropping back to pass, and he goes to the air, and it's knocked up, intended for Tyrone Scott. He got his hand on it, but couldn't quite bring it down. So it brings up a 4th down and 7 for the Olympians. And I think the Olympians have got the right idea, Alex, by taking the ball to the air and taking it deep on Antelope Valley. They haven't been able to connect with it thus far, but usually these things are just a matter of time, just a matter of getting down a few basics. Jeff Loudon's back in punt formation. It was a high snap, however, Loudon gets the punt off. And it's going to be down by the Olympians after it takes a bounce back toward their end of the field. So it'll be 1st down and 10 for Antelope Valley from what would appear to be approximately the 24-yard line.
Well, one thing like you mentioned there, Rufus, it's good to see Odom at least come close to his receivers, at least have them make contact with their hands, because that way, you know, he's on target, and it'll just take, like you said, a quarter or 2, maybe in the second half, get their things together and just come out and dominate like they did last weekend.
That's a 1st down for Antelope Valley. Keep the ball on the ground. There's a fumble, and it's picked up by Henry Benz. He's got a chance to go all the way, and he does. It's a touchdown, Leuzinger. Henry Benz. Henry Benz on a 23-yard fumble return with 4 minutes, 33 seconds left in the first half. The Leuzinger Olympians have a chance to draw even on Angel Andrade's extra point attempt.
Tommy Smith fumbled, picked up by Leuzinger.
It's too early to go for 2 points on a conversion play, but like you said there, Angel Andrade has been a little shaky with the field goals. He's like 50% off the extra points the PAT tries, so let's see what Angel can do with it.
And here's the all-important extra point attempt. There's the snap, there's the place, there's the kick. It's up, and it's good. It's good. Score is tied at 7-7 now with 4 minutes, 33 seconds left in the first half. The Leuzinger Olympians draw even on Henry Benz's 32-yard fumble return.
Well, now we got a whole new ball game. 7-7 is just like 0-0, just like when they started off. The Olympians, like I said, coming into this ball game, 24 fumbles in all their overall games. They've recovered 18 of them. 4 of them have went for touchdowns. Now they got number 5 up there. They chalked it up. Tim Camilo had recovered 5 of the 18, 2 of them for TDs. Damon Whitmore had 3 of them. Marvin Johnson had 2. Quan Banks had 2. And now we got Henry Benz with his 2nd touchdown recovery.
Man, and that gets the crowd back into the contest, Alex. Once again, the Olympians, as they have so many times in the past, fall behind early. However, they've drawn even. And thus far, although it would look like they were a bit overmatched size-wise against this Antelope Valley team, they've played them very, very well throughout the course of this first half. And I think very commendably are tied at this point, 7-7.
I think Angel Andrade should kick it. If he's a smart kicker right now, if Carnes knows what he's doing, they'll kick it to number 24 on the near sideline, Wayne Walters.
And there is the kick. However, there are flags on the kickoff. Looks like they're going to bring it back.
Indication is Leuzinger offside on the kickoff.
The early indication is that the Olympians were offside on the kickoff. And, of course, that's a very poor penalty to make. It's not a smart penalty at all. That's what I'm trying to say. Puts more pressure on the kicker to try to get the ball deep. You certainly want to push them back as far as possible to give your kickoff team a chance to get under it and hopefully get some good coverage and pin them deep in their own territory. So now Angel Andrade will be kicking off from his own 35-yard line.
Well, I didn't see the offside penalty. I was trying to tell the folks out there that Carnes should kick it to number 24 instead of 44 because they know number 44 is dangerous with the ball.
And here's Angel Andrade's kickoff again. And it's over on the sideline, goes out of bounds. And that's going to back up Angel Andrade another 5 yards down to his 30-yard line. And, of course, folks, the net consequence of all this is that Angel Andrade doesn't have one of the stronger foots that we've seen. Foots, feet, whatever would be appropriate. Doesn't have a good kick. He's not a good kickoff man. Let's put it like that. He doesn't get the ball very deep as it is, and to put the additional pressure of having to kick from his own 30-yard line can only mean that Antelope Valley is going to get the ball in excellent field position. Let's hope they can get this one underway, and it is. And Angel gets off a good kick taken at the 15-yard line. And they give the ball to Donnie Smith. And Smith still has it. He's going to be brought down.
The Hurricane hit him there, Rufus. The Hurricane. You know who that is.
That's Jonas Woodring, number 61. And that's great for the Olympian defenders. Antelope Valley tried some trickeration on the play. However, they were unsuccessful with it. They seem to want to get the ball in Smith's hands no matter what. And that time, one of the other men who received the kick, and here we see it here, number 24, handing off to Smith, and Smith being stacked up there by Woodring, who doesn't let go and brings him down. On the first down play, they keep the ball on the ground to Smith, and he's going to be stopped after a very short gain.
For about 2 yards.
That's number 44, folks, Tommy Smith. You're going to hear his name quite often tonight, so you may as well get used to it. It's not because we want to call it, but it's because that's where I would say 75% of the Antelope Valley offense is generated from. Tommy Smith.
About 85%.
We'll see Jonas Woodring coming off now. And that's number 21, Richie Jacobs, and Tyrone Scott going out to cover the wide receivers. They're split right. They drop back to pass. Pass over the middle is incomplete. Intended for David Whitson.
And you see their quarterback, Kareem Hilton, isn't as accurate as Odom is. So that's why you see 85 to 90% of the offensive plays coming right out of number 44's arms.
And it's going to be a third down play coming up for Antelope Valley. 3rd and long. Looks like about 3rd and 7. If the Olympian defense can hold here, they've got a chance, it would appear, to get the ball in excellent field position. But first things first. And they hand the ball off to Smith. And Smith is tied up. Looked like by Henry Benz, and finally brought down by Richie Jacobs. And there was number 63, Mike Donnelly, also in on the tackle. So the Olympian defense once again rises to the task.
And they have to swarm all over them like you see here on your screen. Henry Benz comes up, hangs on, and lets everybody else just stop Smith.
Down and about 6 yards to go.
It is almost impossible for one guy to bring down Tommy Smith. He's pretty well convinced me of that. Of course, now Antelope is in punt formation. However, we've got a looks like an equipment timeout on the field called by the officials. As I was about to say, and this does give me time to say it, the last time we saw Antelope Valley in punt formation, they went with the short snap to the running back. I don't think they'll do that this time, this deep in their own territory. We'll wait and see, and they do snap it to the punter, and there's the punt. He gets it away. Richard Jacobs tries to get under it, however, it bounces out of bounds at about the 35-yard line of the Leuzinger Olympians. They spotted actually at the 36-yard line. So from their own 36-yard line with 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first half of a tie contest, Leuzinger Olympians 7, the visiting Antelope Valley Antelope 7. In this second round 1988 CIF Southern Section playoff game, the winner of tonight's contest moves on to face either Beverly Hills or Palmdale. So on 1st and 10, they pitch the ball back to Damon Whitmore. Whitmore goes around the right side, picks up about 6 yards on the carry.
Well, that's about his average there, Rufus, 6.86. He's already caught up 646 yards on 94 carries, so they're going to their big man.
Second down and about 3 for the Olympians.
Damon Whitmore, of course, the last couple of weeks has had excellent play on the ground. We see a stop of the clock by the officials. There are 2 minutes, 14 seconds left in the first half. While we've got a moment, Alex, I was trying to find if you've got your sheet in terms of how the brackets are, right as we were about to say, with the Beverly Hills upset of Santa Barbara a couple of weeks last week, they're playing Palmdale tonight. And of course, the winner of this contest will play the winner of the Beverly Hills Palmdale contest in a semifinal matchup. Zach Odom drops back to pass, passes to Tyrone Scott, and it's good enough for the first down.
And our crosstown rivals, Hawthorne, are playing Canyon of Canyon Country, the number 2 seeded team in the CIF playoffs. An upset against Canyon Country, even though Canyon is the favorite again and Hawthorne is at home, could set up a Bay League final here in the semifinals if Beverly Hills wins, if Leuzinger wins, and if Hawthorne wins.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Olympians. Once again, Odom drops back to pass. He feels some pressure. He does get the pass away. However, it's incomplete, intended for number 21, Richie Jacobs. Makes it a 2nd down and 10 now for the Olympians. As we were talking about the playoff brackets just a second ago, Alex, a couple of teams that could have presented some problems for the Olympians got knocked off along the way, which, in a way, if they get past this tough Antelope Valley team tonight, have a chance to really advance pretty far into this playoffs. Of course, they played Beverly Hills earlier in the season and defeated that team, so if Beverly Hills holds up against Palmdale, they'd be going against an opponent they're very familiar with. We're back to live action as Zach Odom is in the shotgun formation. They set up the screen play, and it's a Damon Whitmore, and he's going to be out near a 1st down. An excellent screenplay run that time by the Leuzinger offense, as the offensive line just let the Antelope Valley defenders come right on in, and they were suckered by the play, and they came after Zach Odom. However, the screen was set up beautifully, and Damon Whitmore was able to convert it into a 1st down. So it's a 1st down and 10 for the Olympians. See number 12, Damon Whitmore, going in motion. Zach Odom dropping back to pass. He's looking for a receiver. He's got some running room. Zach Odom brings it down himself, and it goes to the sideline, and he's driven out of bounds after a gain of about 9 yards on the carry.
Correction, 10 yards should be close to the 1st down.
They're going to say, once again, he's close to a 1st down as the ball is down near the 30-yard line of the Antelopes.
Well, excuse me there, Rufus. That is what I like to see Odom do, is just use his fancy quick feet work that he has. That's why he's got 12 touchdowns right here. 486 yards, just add 10 more to that, and right near the sideline, right there, just chalks up another 1st down. Or excuse me, 2nd down.
Timeout. Officials.
Once again, we've got an officials timeout on the field. And while we've got a timeout on the field, it does give us a chance to say, folks, as we've said all along, right here on Channel 60 Sports, we'll be following the hometown Leuzinger Olympians as they progress throughout the playoffs. So you follow them, follow their record. As long as they're winning, we'll be there. Channel 60, we do it all for you. And on the second and short play, we see the handoff to Damon Whitmore. Whitmore fumbles, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by Antelope Valley. And that's the second Olympian turnover. And that's a very critical one. However, there are only 55 seconds left in the first half. The fumble was deep in the Antelope Valley territory as the Olympians were driving toward what would have appeared to have been another score. However, the turnover gives the ball back to the Antelopes.
It's one of the big things you hate to see the Olympians do when they get near striking distance is just force the ball out. Here you see Damien Whitmore with a handoff. He gets hit hard and just off balance, drops the ball, and they recover.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Antelope Valley, and the ball is to Tommy Smith. He comes around the sideline. He's finally driven out of bounds.
9-yard gain.
Picks up 9 yards on the carry. We'll make it a 2nd down and 1 for the Antelopes. There are 33 seconds left in the first half. The score is Leuzinger 7, the Antelope Valley Antelopes 7.
And it looks like Tommy Smith there wants to get a little score in there right before halftime. Spark a little something up, but time is against him with 33 seconds up on the scoreboard.
Oh, you know the Leuzinger defense is going to play very tough. Now, the last thing you want to do is give up a score this deep into the first half. They're going to be playing them tough. We see Tommy Smith going in motion to the left side of the field, and there's a pass. It's up in the air, and it's incomplete. There are a lot of hands up in the air for that ball. Quan Banks and Tyrone Scott were over there, along with Tommy Smith, the Antelope Valley receiver, on the play. Excellent coverage by the Leuzinger defensive backs.
Well, like you said, a lot of hands, and 6 of those hands belong to Leuzinger. 3 blue jerseys up there against 1 guy with 2 hands. So the quarterback for Antelope Valley also got rocked there. So you know they won't be throwing, I don't think, anymore.
And with the incompletion, it's going to bring up a 3rd down play for the Antelopes. So out of the 3rd down play, let's see what they do here. They go to the ground, and that's Menzies, and Menzies looks like he's going to be near the 1st down.
That should be the last play of the first half there for Antelope Valley.
Yep, and the officials are calling for an official measurement. That's just how close it is. Well, they don't call for the measurement. They signal that it is a... Well, they do decide to measure it after all. For a moment there, the guys working the chains that indicated it was a 4th down.
Club members and friends at Leuzinger High School, there's a spaghetti dinner on December 14th.
And it is a 1st down.
For all friends of Leuzinger Sports.
So with 14 seconds left in the first half, the Antelopes have a 1st down at what would appear to be the 36-yard line of the Olympians.
Concert at Leuzinger High School on December 14th at 7:30.
They spot the ball actually about the 35. They drop back the pass. There's the pass and the pitch, and it's going to be fumbled out of bounds. And that's the end of half number 1. So after 24 minutes of play in this 2nd round contest, the visiting Antelope Valley Antelopes have 7, and the home field Leuzinger Olympians have 7, in what has proven to be a very tightly fought contest in the first half. We're looking forward to more second half action, folks. So we're going to let you enjoy the halftime festivities, and we'll be back at the start of the 2nd half.
Thank you.
And we're back, folks, for the start of the 2nd half. We see the teams approaching, the captains approaching midfield right now for the toss of the coin to see who will take possession to begin this 2nd half.
The Antelopes of Antelope Valley
And here you see the Antelope Valley team coming onto the field, and Alex, they did tear through the sign with a little more success than we've seen Leuzinger tear through their sign in some previous games. They don't use the sign this time. However, the cheerleaders and pom-pom girls do form a tunnel for the Olympians to enter through, and I'm sure they'll be entering to a thunderous applause.
Well, the Olympians are receiving because Antelope Valley was receiving the opening kickoff, and Leuzinger does need to get up on the board, and this possession could be grateful for them.
And now we see another bit of formation activity. I'm not sure what, well, I guess these are pre-game warm-ups, pre-second half warm-ups, I should say. Now here they come. Onto the field, the Leuzinger Olympians, to a thunderous applause by the home team, coming to cheer their guys on to what they hope will be a key second-round victory.
Yeah, statistics. That's what everybody wants to hear after the first half. They're all everything. Tommy Smith, on 14 carries, he has 94 yards. He's averaging 180, or close to 200 yards. He's halfway there right now. Whitmore, only 44 yards on 8 carries. Camilo, a small, dismal, 23 yards on 4 carries. Overall, Antelope Valley, 131 yards. That's passing and rushing. And Leuzinger right behind him with 120 yards on 25 plays.
And although Smith has 94 yards thus far in the contest, I think we have to take some comfort in the fact that those 94 yards have not done a lot of damage to the Olympians up to now, as evidenced by the score, which is 7-7. Leuzinger Olympians hosting the Antelope Valley Antelopes. And here we prepare for the second half kickoff, as the Olympians are hoping that they have got the right stuff to come away with a second round victory and move on to the semifinal round of the 1988 CIF Southern Section Playoffs.
Well, the guys receiving the ball are way back on the end zone line, so they know this guy can really boot it.
And back to receive for the Olympians is number 21, Richie Jacobs, along with number 88, Quan Banks. And here's the kickoff. And it's going over to Richie Jacobs' side of the field. Richie Jacobs picks it up. He's out at the 10-yard line. He's out at the 20-yard line. And he's down at about the 23-yard line. So to open the second half from their own 23-yard line, the Olympians go on offense for the first time here.
Well, that Tommy Smith is very special to Antelope Valley, but one thing he is not a special team player, as you see on the replay here. Richie Jacobs gets the rollout kick and has nowhere to go. He gets smothered up in the middle there. Boom, 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 all over the place.
So it's a first down and 10 for the Olympians from their own 23-yard line. And they keep it on the ground. Odom keeps it himself, and he picks up about 2 yards on the carry.
Offensively, the Olympians are averaging 28 points a game. They've outscored their 11 opponents 314 to 149. Let's see what they could do tonight in this second half CIF second round quarterfinal football game.
So it's a second down and 8 for the Olympians now from about the 25-yard line. Once again, Odom keeps it, and he's got some running room. However, he's brought down very hard by Tommy Smith on an excellent defensive play, and if Zach could have gotten by him, there was daylight down that sideline, but Smith was able to close the gap very quickly and bring Odom down.
Odom gets played around with like a cat and a mouse. Right here, Smith just picks him up like a rag doll and slams him to the ground. It's unfair. I don't think Antelope Valley should have Tommy Smith on the team, or else it'd be an even ball game.
A very even ball game. Thus far, we haven't seen a whole lot from many other players on the team, but we've certainly seen enough of Tommy Smith. On the third and short play is Damon Whitmore with the carry, and it would appear that Whitmore has enough for the first down as he moves the ball out near the 36-yard line.
And the Antelopes should have seen a lot of Whitmore. That guy right there, number 12, only 44 yards and 8 carries. He's averaging about 80 to 90 yards per game, so he's halfway there.
And as they come up to the line of scrimmage, we see Richie Jacobs and Tyrone Scott split to the right. Zach Odom goes the other way, however, on a keeper, and he's going to be brought down for a loss of about 3 yards on the carry.
That was John Ford, number 55 for Antelope Valley. He was not fooled, and one thing we're seeing now, Odom starting to use the running game a little bit more to his advantage.
However, on that play, did lose yardage, brings up a 2nd down and 13 for the Olympians. So on 2nd and long, the Olympians look to keep the ball on the ground, and they do. However, it's for a very short carry.
By Tim Camillo.
That was Tim Camillo with the carry. Picked up maybe a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and long for the Olympians now, about 3rd and 12.
Well, an obvious passing situation here. Maybe they'll keep it on the ground and keep being conservative, but I think they're going to have to come out like they did last week. Their backs are against the wall, even though they're tied 7-7. They're going to have to come out and air out the game. Come out and pass more, and there you see a shotgun formation. What's in store for Antelope Valley?
Out of the shotgun formation, Odom drops back to pass, and it's to Tyrone Scott. However, it's for no gain, so it's going to bring up a big 4th down play. That time there was a breakdown on the Olympian offensive line, that allowed extremely hot pursuit on Zach Odom. He had very little chance to get the pass off.
Well, the guy in hot pursuit there for Antelope Valley was number 64, James Blankenship. He was not fooled all over Tyrone Scott. That stopped the quick play that worked earlier in the first half for the Olympians.
We see Jeff Loudon back to punt. He does get the punt off. Back to receive is Smith. Smith fumbles, and it was picked up by number 45, his teammate, Malin Brown. And Malin Brown certainly bailed out Tommy Smith on that play because the Leuzinger kickoff punt coverage was down there, and they were right on top of the ball.
44-yard
Well,
kick.
Smith didn't look too sure of himself on that wobbly kick coming at him right there. Brown did save him and the Antelopes, because if the Olympians recover that ball, they're only 25 yards away from the end zone.
Makes you start to wonder if maybe Smith isn't getting a little bit fatigued out there. He's been out on the field on almost every play, offensively and defensively. And
Wrap up the middle.
they keep it on the ground.
Eric Menzies.
And that's Menzies, number 33, with the carry. Menzies picks up approximately 6 yards on the carry. Makes it a 2nd down and about 4.
All week long there, Rufus, I was wondering how good this Tommy Smith was. How good is he? Is he as good as his stats say? Is he awesome? He's all everything. He's a versatility man. And the first half shows that he is. Maybe the second half he might run down a little slow.
This time the pitch back is to Smith, and Smith is going to be out near a 1st down. Looks like he may be just a little bit short on it.
Number 32, Henry Benz.
There's Coach Steve Carnes there for the Olympians.
And they signal that it is a 1st down for the Antelopes. So now they've got the ball at their own 36-yard line in their opening drive of the second half. There's 7 minutes, 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The score stands Leuzinger 7, the Antelope Valley Antelopes 7. And on the 1st down play, they hand it off to Smith. Smith goes around right side.
2 yards.
He picks up only 2 yards or so on the carry.
Stopped by Tim Camillo.
Well, it's too early to say it. You said it last week. Solving the riddle is the key. The riddle comes in the form of one of the best, fastest, quickest, and biggest rushers they have in Southern California, Tommy Smith. The Olympians now see that it's going to take more than one guy to stop him. They're going to have to grab him by the ankles if they're going one-on-one, or just have the whole team come up and tackle him down.
Exactly. Once again, they come up the line, the I formation. They send a man in motion. They fake, and the quarterback slips on the play. And there's going to be a loss of yardage there. He loses about 4 yards.
And Jonas Woodring, number 61 on that play.
I think actually, Alex, what appeared to have happened was that the quarterback was going to drop back to pass, it would appear, and he lost his footing there.
33-yard line.
However, for the Olympians, that's a big break because it makes it a 3rd and very long for the Antelopes now. 3rd and about 13. The ball is spotted at the 33-yard line. They've got to get it down near down near the 45-yard line, right at about the 46-yard line. Let's see if the Olympians can hold here. There goes Smith in motion. They throw, however, to one of the other backs. It's going to be short. They send Smith in motion. They throw to the tight end, number 84, David Whitson. However, it does bring up a 4th down. A 4th and about 4. So Antelope Valley goes back in the punt formation. And Richie Jacobs, number 21, the ever-present dangerous punt return man, drops back to return the punt.
Let's see if he could be dangerous on this play here.
Well, you've got Smith as the punter. Let's see if he actually kicks, and he does. And it's a very high kick. And Richie Jacobs signals for the fair catch, and he makes it at about the 15-yard line.
The Olympians will take over first down.
One thing that tells you out there that since Tommy Smith is doing the kicking, let's say that Jacobs does get free and break loose for a big 40-yard gain. Who's back there to stop him? Nobody else but the fastest guy in Antelope Valley's team, Tommy Smith.
So it's a 1st and 10 for the Olympians from their own 15-yard line. This is their second drive in the third quarter. 5 minutes, 13 seconds left in the third, folks. And this is a tie ball game, 7-7 between the Leuzinger Olympians and the Antelope Valley Antelopes. And on first down, they pitch it back to Damon Whitmore. And Whitmore is brought down by Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith shot in there like a bullet out of a cannon and brought down Damon Whitmore.
Well, Tommy Smith did get in there and slash Whitmore, just got him on the left side of the legs. Nowhere else to go but down. He was off balance, couldn't get any more yardage. And Tommy Smith, like I said, he's doing it offensively and defensively. Defensively, he has 6 interceptions.
So Damon Whitmore picks up about 7 yards on the carry, makes it a 2nd down and 3 from about the 22-yard line for the Olympians. And they keep it on the ground once again. This time it's Henry Benz, and Henry looks like he's picked up the first down for the Olympians. And it is a first down.
First down.
So once again, the Olympians show that they do have the power to move the ball against this Antelope Valley team. However, they've got to find some way to get the ball in the end zone. I think if they can get in the end zone first, that they've got a very good chance of winning this ball game. So they come up to the line of scrimmage once again in their own territory, 1st and 10. They keep the ball on the ground. It's Henry Benz once again with the carry. And he's going to pick up short yardage on the play. They give him about 3 yards. Looks like they'll make it a 2nd down and a long 7.
I'd still like to see Odom come up there and drop back and pass. The ones that he did do, the one big play pass that he connected in the first half, just totally caught them off balance. Antelope Valley didn't know what to expect because they're keeping it on the ground.
They spot the ball at the 31-yard line. Zach Odom drops back to pass. He's got time this time, and he's got a man. It's going to be intercepted.
By number 45.
Yeah, by number 45. He's got some running room, and he's finally brought down deep in Leuzinger territory.
Into Leuzinger territory.
I'm sure Zach Odom saw the same thing I did when he looked up, that he did have an open receiver. However, the opening quickly closed, and it turned out to be an interception in favor of the Antelopes. And now they've got the ball in excellent field position as they're deep in Leuzinger territory, down at approximately the 25-yard line or so. And it's a 1st and 10 for them.
It's 7-7 tie.
And they keep the ball on the ground. That's Tommy Smith with the carry. Smith picks up about 4 yards on the carry.
Rico, I think Hawthorne's up by 1, 14-13.
And turnovers like that can really hurt the Olympian effort here. And that particular turnover gave the Antelopes the ball in excellent field position. Once again, this time the ball is pitched back to number 24. It wasn't Smith, that was number 24. And for the Antelopes, that was Wayne Walters.
Brings up 3rd down and about.
Well, there, Rufus, when you got such a prestigious running back there like Smith, you really don't need a passing game. All you do is shovel the ball off to him and say, here, go to work. So the receivers really aren't getting too much work. Quan Banks, cornerback Quan Banks and everybody else just won't be getting that much action there, but they still have to be close, those receivers, because you never know. They might come out and pass and just catch you off balance, off guard there.
And on the play, their quarterback drops back to pass. He's looking in the end zone, and it's just off the fingertips of his receiver, number 81, Charles Hood. An excellent throw by the quarterback, Kareem Hilton, but he led his man just about 6 inches too far. Of course, that's going to make it a 4th and about 3. Here we see on the replay the pass into the end zone just off his fingertips.
Kareem Hilton showing Leuzinger that he does have a gun.
29-yard line. 39-yard.
And here comes a 39-yard field goal attempt by their place kicker, Jurgensen, who this year has a 51-yard kick to his credit. So this is certainly within his range. The Olympians want to get good coverage here. And they fake the kick. And there it is. And it's going to be close. It'll depend upon where they spot it as to whether or not they made the first down. Looks like they did, however. And the referee signals first down. Here we see the replay, the fake field goal attempt, as the quarterback keeps the ball himself, or number 11, I should say, and he picks up the necessary yardage for the first down. That was Brandon Newcomb. Once again, we look at the replay, and we see it kept himself. We're back at live action now. Now here's number 24, and he's going to be stacked up in the backfield, and that was Wayne Walters.
Loss of about 2 yards.
For some reason, Alex, we haven't, well, no, Tommy Smith is out there. They're just trying to fool the Olympians by giving it to another player instead.
It's kind of hard to miss Tommy Smith, 2'10", 6'2". He's the guy with the dirtiest uniform out there.
Yes, he is. And it's a second down play now, a 2nd and 12 it would appear. Tommy Smith has the ball, and Tommy Smith breaks down near the end zone. Looks like they're going to down him at about the 1 yard line or so. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Antelopes inside the 5 yard line of the Leuzinger Olympians.
Well, Tommy Smith goes right through the Leuzinger defense like if it wasn't even there. He ran sideways, he ran upside down. It looked like he was doing cartwheels. He got as close to the 1 or 2 yard line. Let's see what Antelope can do now. And it's a 1st and goal from the 1 yard line. There's a pitch to Tommy Smith, and Smith gets in, standing up. So Antelope Valley breaks on top with 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter by a score of 13-7 with their extra point attempt coming up here. And we're getting in that stage of that game, Alex, where we might see a 2-point conversion or certainly a fake extra point attempt. Well, the 6'2", 170 extra point kicker right here, the kickoff man, Chris Jurgensen, is going to try to get that extra point.
And there's the kick. It's up, and that doesn't look a signal good. From our vantage point, it appeared to have been wide right, but the official signaled it good, so the score now stands at 14-7 in favor of the visiting Antelopes over the hometown Leuzinger Olympians.
Well, here we see the big guy, number 44, just hurdle a few Leuzinger defenders and just trot into the end zone unstopped. He got his 16th touchdown of the year. That's a lot of touchdowns right there, and just adding on to his offensive production there. He had 94 yards in the first half. I'm sure he's gotten over the 100 mark, and you read your newspapers after the game tonight and you'll see how much he's tallied up. He's averaging 180, so look out. He's a big guy up there getting all the yards for Antelope Valley.
And the Olympians prepare to receive the kickoff. Quan Banks and Richie Jacobs are deep to receive. And the Leuzinger Olympian fans still showing a lot of spirit here as they hope to rally their team back into a position to tie this contest. And we see the kickoff fading over to the right side, taken by Richie Jacobs at the goal line. Richard Jacobs coming around the side. His one defender slips. He's got some running room, and he's finally driven out of bounds up near the 30-yard line. They spot the ball at about the 33-yard line. An excellent return by Richard Jacobs gives the Leuzinger offense excellent field position to start this drive. There are 11 seconds left in the third quarter. The Olympians are trailing by a score of 14-7. Here we see on the replay Richard Jacobs coming up the right sideline, finally driven out of bounds. With only one man to beat, he could have quickly tied this game back up. As we see, Zach Odom under center, take the snap, passes out in the flat.
Richie Jacobs.
And
gain of a yard.
Picks up maybe a yard on the pass.
Brings up second down.
And with that, that's the end of 3 quarters.
The score.
So after 3,
14,
Antelope Valley visiting leads the home field Leuzinger Olympians by a score of 14-7. And folks, we've got 12 minutes left in regulation, and our Olympians have got to get their act together now, Alex. Remember, we're in the playoffs. There's no tomorrow. It's do or die.
You're surely right there, Rufus. There is no tomorrow. We said it last week. Arcadia was eliminated from the playoffs, and little by little, after tonight's game, there will only be 4 teams left. The Olympians need to win tonight and then win next week to be in the final game of the CIF championship. There go the cheerleaders trying to root on the Olympians. They're gonna need some real tough offense here, to get generated and tie up this ball game right away if they want to hope to start a comeback in the fourth quarter. Only 12 minutes remaining.
Well, they've got the ball at their own 35-yard line. It's a second down and about 7. And there's a pass out in the flat to Jeff Loudon. Jeff Loudon's got some running room. He's still on his feet. And Jeff Loudon breaks over into Antelope Valley territory. He's down near the 45-yard line of the Antelopes. So an excellent play to get the fourth quarter started.
Well, here we see Jeff Loudon coming out, receiving the pass sidearm by Odom. He just runs. He's a big guy out there. Probably got the biggest reception of his career right there.
So the ball is spotted just outside the 45-yard line of the Antelopes. This time the Olympians split 2 receivers to the left side. Quan Banks and number 21, however, they keep it on the ground to Damon Whitmore. That was Richard Jacobs and Quan Banks who was split out to the left side. However, it was a running play, and they pick up about 3 yards on the carry. Makes it a second down and 7 for the Olympians as the ball is down near the 42-yard line of the Antelopes. This time split to the left for number 19, Tyrone Scott, and number 21, Richie Jacobs. A single back in the backfield. Zach Odom drops back to pass. Pass is completed to Tyrone Scott. And Scott's going to be up near first down.
Scott Dunn made the tackle.
I think that the Olympians are showing that they can clearly pass on this team, and we see the replay here. Pass out in the flat to Tyrone Scott. Tyrone Scott picks up first down yardage on the play. Now, as I was about to say, once again, and I know it's much easier to coach the game from up here, Alex, than it is from down on the field. However, it would appear that the Antelopes are vulnerable to a long pass. I'd like to see the Olympians take a shot at that end zone against them. We see Quan Banks saying maybe they will, no they won't. Instead, they give it to Damon Whitmore, and Whitmore picks up, 5 or 6 yards on the carry.
My thoughts exactly there, Rufus. I sure would like to see Odom come out there in form and throw to a receiver deep. Hopefully that number 88 right there, Quan Banks. He's completed 52 of 108 passes coming into this game, 11 games for 9 touchdowns caught by his receivers. He's covered 1,162 yards, only 2 interceptions. Up to tonight, he's got 3 interceptions.
And it's a second down and 7 for the Olympians. And Odom drops back to pass. He's got a man. He's got Richard Jacobs. And Jacobs, touchdown! Touchdown from Zach Odom to Richard Jacobs. Zach Odom to Richard Jacobs with 9 minutes, 50 seconds left in the contest. Draws the Leuzinger Olympians within 1 point. And Angel Andrade comes out onto the field for that all-important extra point attempt.
Throw that ball near what's his name? Angela Andrade into attempt the conversion.
Once again, we see it here on the replay. Zach Odom drops back to pass. He looks to the right side of the field. Richard Jacobs is all alone, and he makes the reception for the touchdown. And here's the kick. It's up, and it's no good.
Andrade's kick is wide.
No good. Score stands at 14-13 in favor of Antelope Valley.
13.
And nothing else need be said except that Angela Andrade missed a very important extra point attempt.
Well, last week it was a Quan Banks and Zach Odom connection in the air. This week it's Richie Jacobs and Odom teaming up to go for that touchdown and trail by only 1 point. Andrade sure has to make up for himself now. An easy PAT, well, easy for us because we're up here and he's down there. He's been having his problems splitting the uprights for the point after attempt there, and now he's got to make it up. He's got to come up with a big boot here, knock it deep for the Antelopes to stay back deep in their territory. The Olympians need to force a turnover. It's not too late. There's 9 minutes and 50 seconds left in this fourth and final quarter that could decide the elimination of either team in the CIF playoffs up to this moment.
Referee calls timeout.
And we have an official timeout signal for on the field. And we see Angela Andrade coming to the sideline now. And it would appear that there is some dirt on his cleats. I do believe, again, the field is in very muddy condition due to the rain. Angela Andrade is cleaning out his cleats, hoping to get good traction into a kicker. That's very important that he's able to get that off foot stabilized as he prepares to kick the ball. Otherwise, he could slip right under it. So, the Olympians are back in this contest, and we've got plenty of time, folks. So don't fret it just yet. There are 9 minutes, 50 seconds left, however, and the Olympians trail by a score of 13-14. Excellent kick by Angel Andrade down near the 5. Smith fakes it, and he's got some running room. Angel Andrade is trying to get to him. He can't make it. They won't catch him at all, and Smith is going to go all the way, a 95-yard kickoff return by Tommy Smith. And that's going to push them out in front by a score of 20-13 now, with the extra point attempt coming up.
That was Angel Andrade's big chance right there to redeem himself, to knock down a ball carrier like he always does week after week, come up with a clutch touchdown saving stop. But like you see up there on the replay, if we're going to see it later after this point after attempt, Andrade was too slow and Smith was just too fast and just beat everybody down the line.
And that was a major, major special teams breakdown for the Olympians as they give up the quick score to the Antelopes. And folks, that has taken a lot of the momentum out of this crowd. The extra point attempt is good. So now the score is 21-13 in favor of Antelope Valley.
Well, I said it before and I'll say it again here, Rufus. Why kick it to that guy? There's another side of the field. You know, why not kick it to the other guy? And here you're going to see a replay of it. The Channel 60 will show you right into Tommy Smith's hands. He cradles the puppy, fakes a handoff to number 24, and it fools some of the guys, and it sure fools here Angel Andrade because he can't catch him. Nobody catches him. Nobody there. He just turns around, looks, turn around, look. Nobody behind him. Just leaves everybody in the dust.
And that was a monumental score for the Antelopes of Antelope Valley. Puts them back in commanding lead, however, the Olympians once again have a chance to draw even, and of course they've still got plenty of opportunity to get even in this game with a 2-point conversion after a made touchdown. However, we've got to take things one at a time. And of course, last week, I believe it was, or a couple of weeks ago, we saw our own Olympians return a kickoff for a touchdown. So we know that that's well within their capabilities, and with one play, they could be right back in it.
Like they say, Rufus, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and this fat lady will be singing once the gun goes off, because it's a very important game for both teams.
Yes, it is, and here's the Antelope Valley kickoff, and it's going to be deep.
Jerkington
And it goes into the end zone. Richie Jacobs couldn't handle it, so the Olympians will start at their own 20-yard line.
Well, successfully for the Olympians in 5 years that Coach Carnes has been here, they have a CIF playoff record of 6-3. After tonight, it might just be 6-4. Either way, in his years here, up to last week's game against Arcadia, he's run up a total of 40 wins, 14 losses, and 5 ties. So that's a pretty impressive record in only less than 5 years of coaching. That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. Coach Carnes has done a magnificent job with this team. And on the first down play, we see them run it. There was Tyrone Scott jumped offside. He thought the official spotted it, and he actually didn't. But then when he saw Tyrone pull up, he figured something must be wrong. Let me throw a flag here. And I would believe it's going to be against the Olympians, 5 yards. It's going to make it a first down and 15 from their own 15-yard line.
Well, it's pretty hard to get away with a penalty when you're right in front of the referee right there. All he's got to do is reach in his back pocket, throw up a yellow flag, and you're guilty right there. So the Olympians get moved back 5 more yards, and they just have their work cut out for them right here.
Be first down, 15, Leuzinger.
So it's a first and 15 for the Olympians now from their own 15-yard line. We've still got over 9 minutes left in the contest, folks. Our Olympians trail, however, by a score of 21-13 as they're attempting to mount a comeback here and keep their playoff hopes alive. Zach Odom drops back to pass. He's going deep. Ooh! And he just misses Richie Jacobs. Just misses Richie Jacobs.
Just misses is correct there, Rufus, because he's not underthrowing his receivers like Ed Benioff was last week of Arcadia. He's overthrowing him, which is good because right here he gets enough arm on it, but it's just not fortunate for Jacobs to come up with a spectacular diving catch. You can't say he's not trying. He's giving it his all-out effort there.
And we see Jeff Loudon and Tim Camilo coming into the lineup for the Olympians. Tyrone Scott comes out. And Richie Jacobs goes to the far side. Jeff Loudon's at the tight end position on the right side of the line. Zach Odom drops back to pass. He's got time. He's going to lose it, though. And he does. And he's going to be brought down at the 10-yard line. It's going to make it a second and very long now for the Olympians. The Olympian offensive line held them as long as they could, Alex. But finally, the Antelope defenders were able to break through. And, of course, they sack Odom for a 5-yard loss on the play. It's going to make it a third down and 20 for the Olympians.
Steve Ford was all over Odom there, number 88. Just put the rope around Odom's neck and strangled him down. You can't give him that much time.
Now we see Quan Banks split to the right side and Richie Jacobs over on the left side. Odom is dropping back to pass. He's being pursued. He's got to get rid of it, and he goes to the air, and it's incomplete. At least Zach got the pass off without taking the sack. However, it's going to bring up a punting situation for the Olympians, 4th and 20 from their own 10-yard line. And they desperately need a good kick by Jeff Loudon here to push the Antelopes as far back as possible.
Well, you said it there. Jeff Loudon has to get the punt of his life here and keep it away from number 44.
Snap was high. There's the punt, though. And it's not going to be deep, but it's turning end over end. And it does take a Leuzinger bounce. And that's exactly what they needed. Ball takes an excellent Leuzinger bounce. And it's down at about the 43-yard line.
Antelopes will take over in their own 43-yard line, 1st and 10.
So we called for it, Alex, and we got it. They were pinned deep in their own territory, had the punt, needed a big punt from Jeff Loudon. He delivered on his part by getting the ball out to the 43-yard line of the Antelopes. And now it's up to the defense to see if they can force some turnovers here and give the Olympians a chance to get back into this contest while there's still lots of time left on the clock. Of course, we know what the Antelopes are going to do, and that's keep the ball on the ground. And there goes the pile. You can sort of tell where the ball is as you watch the pile move forward. And you figure somewhere under there is either mincing or Menzies or excuse me, Tommy Smith. And that time it was number 33, Menzies with the carry.
Well, like you said, we called for the kick. We also called for a big pass play that resulted in a Ritchie touchdown. And now, hopefully, we can call for a fumble or turnover, because that's what the Olympians are going to need. They're in good, excellent field position for them to start something on a recovery.
And they come up to the line, a wishbone formation. They hand the ball to Smith. Smith breaks the ball out near the 50-yard line. As a matter of fact, they're going to spot it right on the 50. It's going to make it a third and a long 3, I would call it, for, here we see on the replay what just happened. However, it makes it a 3rd and 3 for the Antelopes as the ball is placed right on the midfield stripe. Once again, it's a big 3rd down play for the Leuzinger defenders. And there's the ball, there's the quarterback keeper, and he's got some running room. And he's brought down, but not until after he's made the first down. And he takes the ball inside the 40-yard line of Leuzinger, down to about the Leuzinger 37-yard line.
That's the first bootleg we've seen done here by their quarterback. Kareem Hilton fakes everybody out, but not Quan Banks right there. If he doesn't stop him, that's in the more 6 points. That's a nail in the coffin for the Olympians. Looks like Antelope Valley's coming into their bag of tricks, reaching down deep and trying anything they can to get back up on the scoreboard.
And the Leuzinger defenders at this point have got to reach way down. There's the ball to Smith. They're hoping to force a turnover. However, there isn't one as Smith picks up about 8 yards on the carry. And of course, with every pickup of yardage, it keeps the clock running. And the clock is no longer an ally of the Leuzinger Olympians as they're trailing here, looking for a big break, looking for a turnover, anything that'll get them back into this contest.
Well, I got to say it now. If it wasn't for Henry Benz, they wouldn't even be this close. The defense came through with a recovery there and scored in for 6 points. Antelope Valley hoping to do what they did at Dos Pueblos, 37-10.
And once again, we see the ball is still on the ground. That's Menzies, and Menzies has enough yardage for the first down.
Number 35, Manny Gonzalez.
And the clock will stop momentarily at the 5-minute, 17-second mark of the 4th quarter. The Antelope Valley Antelopes are leading by a score of 21-13 over the home field Leuzinger Olympians. And they're in control right now as they've got the ball down at the 31-yard line. Excuse me, they're at the Leuzinger 25-yard line, threatening to score again. The Leuzinger defense hoping to come up with a big turnover here and somehow get that ball back in the hands of their offense. But that's going to be very difficult at this point. And there's movement on the Antelope side of the field. That'll help a little bit. That's going to push them back 5 yards or so. Make it a 1st and 15 for Antelope if the call, in fact, goes against them.
Well, Leuzinger is going to need more than Antelope Valley penalties against them. They're going to need Tommy Smith to break a leg or, you know, not to cause any damage, not to say that I hate him. I've been talking about him all night. But they're going to need him to go out on an injury for them to catch up or just expect some real big plays. As Coach Carnes sends in the play here with number 41 of the Olympians. And number 41, as I check down the roster, is Thomas Gordon, the little hitman.
And Gordon comes in with the defensive strategy. The Antelopes quickly come up to the line of scrimmage. They've got a wishbone backfield. And they get the ball to Smith. And Smith's going to be brought down in the backfield. Loses about 4 yards on the play. Makes it a 2nd down, about 19 now, as the ball is back near the 35-yard line of Leuzinger.
Makes it 2nd and about 19.
So it comes down to, excuse me there, Rufus. After you see here, Smith can't get anywhere. Manny Gonzalez all over him. If it comes down to it, you never know. The Antelope Valley Antelopes may just counter with Chris Jurgensen. Like you said, he's got that 51-yarder. He's got a strong foot. He might be able to split the uprights from 30 to 40-something yards from out here.
Of course, right now, the Leuzinger defense has a golden opportunity to pin them deep, and they're able, and Smith breaks tackles left and right. We see a flag on the play, however. There are 2 flags on the play.
Flags on the play.
Let's see if this touchdown stands up. If it does stand up, folks, that's the old ball game. But it looks like our Olympians may, and there is a clipping penalty being called against the Antelopes, which is going to negate the Tommy Smith touchdown run, and it breathes a breath of new life into the Leuzinger effort tonight.
Well, here we see on the replay, number 43 comes up there and tries to strip the ball, but to no avail. There was a clipping in the backfield there, and that's why there was such a big hole, and Tommy Smith able to go into the end zone.
And quite frankly, that was just sloppy tackling by the Leuzinger defenders. They're reaching for the ball now, and of course the objective, your first objective has got to be to bring the man down. If the ball comes loose, so be it. However, you've got him in a position where you can hold him on downs. So guys, let's play to stop the man. Don't worry about the ball at this point. We've still got plenty of time. There are 3 minutes, 50 seconds left in the contest. It's a second and very long.
Timeout.
And a timeout has been signaled for by the Antelopes of Antelope Valley. So while we've got a timeout, Alex, and we're moving down into the game, let's take this opportunity, one, to say thanks to the band, for instance, for an excellent halftime presentation of a couple of hits, Louie and George Benson's on Broadway. They performed very well each time I've had an opportunity to see them this season under the fine leadership of their band director and, of course, the cheerleaders who have brought spirit to each and every Leuzinger Olympian game this season. The fans turned out tonight in outstanding numbers for this to have been a holiday weekend, and folks could have stayed home. The weather it's clear, but it's cold. That'd have been reason enough for some folks. So the Olympians have a lot of things they can be thankful for. They've got great fan support from their students, from parents of a lot of the players, and from the Lawndale community. It turns out very big to support this team. They've also got an excellent coaching staff that's done a fine job with them throughout the course of the season. All those people are to be commended for the Leuzinger effort. Here it is on second and long. They keep the ball on the ground, Tommy Smith, and he's going to be stopped after a gain of about 2. It's going to make it about 3rd and 18 now for Antelope.
Well, like you said, they have a lot to be thankful for, because in this one-game elimination tournament called the CIF, 16 teams started out this first round last week, and now into the second round. Leuzinger is one of the 8 teams last into this round. If they lose tonight, they'll be out of it, because only 4 teams get to advance into the semifinals.
And here's a big third down play. They've got to defense this one well in order to have a shot. And, of course, the Antelopes are dropping back to pass. They go to the air, and it's going to be incomplete, bringing up a 4th down. And let's see how the Antelopes play this 4th and very, very long play. And the crowd is cheering for the clock to be stopped as the clock continues to roll.
Put 10 seconds back on the clock.
And there appears to be some discrepancy about the clock. We've seen the Antelopes lose trick plays here. Let's see what happens here. The Leuzinger's got to play heads-up defense on this 4th down situation. And there it is. And they do punt it away. And it gets lost in the lights. Richard Jacobs gets a chance to handle it, and he's got some running room. However, he's going to be brought down to about the 10-yard line. So with 2 minutes, 48 seconds left, folks, let's set the table for you right quick. The score stands 21-13 in favor of the visiting Antelope Valley Antelopes. The Leuzinger Olympians are 90 yards away from a touchdown that would bring them to within a score of 21-19. A 2-point conversion would tie the game, giving them an opportunity to go into overtime. However, there are only 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the contest, Alex, with the clock running. The Olympians have their work cut out for them at this point.
They sure do, and those 10 seconds that ran off the clock sure can be crucial in a comeback right now for the Olympians.
And Odom passes out in the flat for first down yardage to Richie Jacobs out past the 20-yard line. And that's going to help a great deal. I would imagine we're going to see a number of sideline patterns, and if Zach happens to see something open over the middle, I'm sure they're going to go for it. Here we see Quan Banks coming into the lineup now. We're sure he'll be split out at one wide receiver position. Tyrone Scott comes off the field, and Quan Banks comes over to our side of the field. And over on the other side, what appears number 21, Richie Jacobs. And they drop back to pass. Here's the pass in the flat, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted. Once again, I hate the sideline quarterback, Alex, but I got to believe that they can go deep on these guys. And if they take an opportunity to let Quan Banks go deep, here we see the replay. Pass out in the flat to Quan Banks, falls incomplete, nearly intercepted. Quan Banks and Tyrone Scott coming to the lineup now.
Well, the Olympians trying to play it safe than sorry because there is no tomorrow, and it's do or die for the Olympians on this final drive.
And this time the Olympians split all three receivers on the same side. There's a pass to Tyrone Scott, and Scott looks to pass, and he does. And the pass is completed. He catches it. He got some running room. Can he make it? That's him. That's number 21, Richard Jacobs. And it's complete. He's down inside, down near the 22-yard line. With 2 minutes, 7 seconds left on the halfback option from Tyrone Scott to Richard Jacobs. And Richard just couldn't get his feet under him. If he had been able to get his feet under him, that could have been a sure touchdown. We see the Olympians now signal for a timeout.
Incredible there, Rufus. That was the left-hander, number 19 for the Olympians, Tyrone Scott, coming through when they need him. There's a shoot out to him, a little short pass.
Here we see it on the replay as Odom throws in the flat to Tyrone Scott. Tyrone Scott gets off the left-handed throw to Richard Jacobs. Richard Jacobs gets away from the defenders initially, breaks off into the open. However, he can't get his feet at them quite good enough to get into the end zone. But an excellent play on the part of the Leuzinger offense. And now we see Coach Steve Carnes going out onto the field to give his players some instructions here on exactly how he wants this 2-minute drill run. There are 2 minutes, 7 seconds left in the contest, folks. The Leuzinger Olympians trail by a score of 13-21. However, they've got their ball first, the ball on their own. They've got the ball on the Antelope Valley 22-yard line. And it's 1st and 10, and they're still alive, Alex.
They're still alive thanks to the left arm of Tyrone Scott and the good sure hands of Richie Jacobs. If he doesn't slip and fall there, he's in the end zone. One of the guys who got burned is Tommy Smith, their wonderful player for Antelope Valley.
And here we see the first down play, and it's a handoff to number 12, Damon Whitmore. And Whitmore picks up nearly enough yardage for another first down as they're down inside the 10-yard line. And they are inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Olympians. The clock stops with 2 minutes left as they move the chains. And the crowd now is into the game as a number of the Leuzinger faithful are on their feet trying to cheer the Leuzinger effort on here as it's 1st and goal. And the Olympians keep it on the field. Odom keeps it himself, and he gets down to about the 4-yard line. So it's a 1st and goal from the 4 with 1 minute 34 seconds left in the contest, and the clock is moving. The Olympian faithful want a timeout. However, Coach Carnes doesn't signal for it. He sends Quan Banks into the game. He takes Richie Jacobs out. And the clock continues to run with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the contest. It's 2nd and goal for the Olympians from the 4-yard line. Zach Odom is under center. He gives the ball to Damon Whitmore. Whitmore is going to be stopped short. Looks like the Olympians will have to call a timeout here, and they do. As Zach Odom signals for the timeout with 1 minute 3 seconds left in the contest. The ball is down at the 2-yard line where it'll be 3rd and goal as the Olympians try desperately to get into the end zone and draw to within a score of 21-19 in what we are sure will be a 2-point conversion to tie this game up. Go back.
I think there's one where they put the ball on the 30 and they try to score, and then the other team doesn't score with it.
And we're back to live action, folks, and we're just coming out of the timeout now. And again, we've got an official timeout on the field now. But when we do come out of the timeout, it will be 3rd and goal for the Olympians. The ball is at approximately the 4-yard line. And, of course, there are no doubts here that the Olympians are going to use both of these downs if that's what it takes to get into the end zone. And the crowd is on their feet as they try to cheer the Olympian effort on. And here we see Zach Odom call his own number, and he turns it upfield. However, he doesn't make any gain on the play. And here comes the season, folks. It's coming down to this one play. We're under a minute left in the contest, and the Olympians use another timeout here.
Here's a replay, as you can see here, folks. Number 11, Zach Odom, fake handoff, nowhere to go. 4 Antelope Valley defenders all over him. And with 52 seconds, Coach Steve Carnes better pick out the right play, because the whole season is riding on this one play. The play that's got to get the Olympian ball carrier into the end zone, or else it's all over.
And of course now we see Coach Carnes out on the field in the middle of his team's huddle. He's talking to all the guys here. He wants everybody on the same page. Everybody has to know exactly what the play is going to be. It's going to have to be executed to perfection. And folks, there's nothing more that we can say. You know, the drama is on the field. There's no need for us to build it up here at the microphones. It's down to one play, Alex, for all. One play for everything. And of course, that only gets half the task done. If they're successful on this 4th and goal play, they've still got to make the 2-point conversion.
So by no means is it over. They get the touchdown. That's only 6 points. They're down by 2. They're going for all the marbles right here.
And here's the call, folks. On 4th and goal, Zach Odom is under the center. Quan Bank goes in motion. Zach's looking for a receiver. He's got time. And it's intercepted, and that's the ball game, folks. And Leuzinger's season ends on an interception by Zach Odom. However,
Intercepted the pass.
with 45 seconds left,
First down.
you can start to sing the swan song, folks. And members of the Leuzinger faithful start to depart the field as they accept the reality that the Leuzinger Olympians' 1988 season is about to come to a close. However, it was a fine season. They end up with a record of 9-2-1. And of course, this is the same place that the season ended for them last year in the second round game of the playoffs. So for our own guys, it's next year. For Antelope Valley, it's on to the 3rd round. Here we see the replay once again. You see Odom looking for a receiver. He had a couple of men in the area. However, it was intercepted by number 22 for them. And number 22 for Antelope was Scott Dunn. And he comes up with the play of the season. We're down to 21 seconds left in the contest, folks. And I guess, Alex, it gives us an opportunity to say once again, it's been Channel 6's distinct pleasure to have been with you throughout the 1988 Leuzinger football season. We hope that you've enjoyed these telecasts as much as we've enjoyed bringing them to you. And that's the contest, folks. It's over. It's official. It's in the record books now. The Olympian season is over. But a fine season it was. As we say once before, the team played very well throughout the course of the season. When it appeared they were just on the right tracks. Too many turnovers tonight, costing the ball game. And of course, we know they're a disappointed bunch as their season comes to an end. However, if Hawthorne is successful tonight in its contest, and who were they playing?
They were playing Canyon of Canyon Country.
Hawthorne was playing Canyon Country at home. If Hawthorne was successful, Channel 6's coverage will switch over to continue to follow the Hawthorne Cougars throughout the playoffs. Our final score here tonight, however, was 21-13 in favor of the visiting Antelope Valley Antelopes as they come down to Leuzinger Olympian Field and take what was a very important game to the Leuzinger effort away from them. Of course, we commend all of our guys on our side of the field, all of the Leuzinger Olympians, for the fine effort that they've displayed throughout the season. Coach Carnes has what is certainly the nucleus of a very good team coming back next year. And of course, we will be here to follow them with you through the next season. However, this season, once again, has come to an inglorious close on a cold Friday night, the day after Thanksgiving, November 25th, 1988. Folks, that's it. There's not much more that can be said. We'll be with you, if not next week, following Hawthorne Cougars, then next year, right here again on Channel 60. It's been our distinct pleasure once again to be with you. These programs are produced by the Londell Cable Usage Corporation with direction provided by Mike Galarza and the rest of the fine crew that works the cameras for us. It's been a lot of fun as the disappointed Leuzinger faithful now file out of the stadium. Alex, your closing thoughts.
My closing thoughts are we have to give credit where credit is due. Antelope Valley just came down here, came from Antelope Valley and just came over here and did what they had to do. They took care of business their own way. Tommy Smith, the leader of that bunch, just gives Coach Carnes his 6-4 playoff record now, wrapping up the '88 season for him, totaling 40 wins, 15 losses, and 5 ties. They've got to be a lot to be proud of. Head coach Steve Carnes closes his 5th year. Bob Greer, the defensive ends and assistant offensive coordinator there. Bobby Greer, Pat Mackey, he's also the coach for the defensive line. Team spotters are Mike Reed, Jim McNichols, and Dan Reddick, the assistant coach, also give credit because they've put it all together for what could have been one of the finest teams the Olympians would have had. Instead, they have to face the fact that they're coming back next year to hopefully prove everybody wrong and come back and get some respect in the playoffs and the Bay League.
Okay, so for Alex Manila, I'm Rufus Washington. And once again, we want to say to the Leuzinger faithful, there's always next year. As we wrap it up, we'll be back to join you on another day. Good night from Channel 60 Sports.